Holy smokes, everyone. When you just things couldn't get worse, when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, they just have. The world's largest meat producer has just been the target of the latest ransomware cyber attack. In this video, I'm going to be going over the latest breaking news on this cybersecurity ransomware attack on JBS, but I'm also going to be connecting the dots with what else is going on in the world and in the global economy and what this may mean for the future. Because people, you have to know we are in a very critical point in time right now, and there's so much craziness going on in the world right now, and I don't think that everything that's happening in the sequence that it is happening is a coincidence. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so looky here everyone, Cyberattack hits world's largest meat supplier. It says here it might be days before production resumes after an organised cybersecurity attack affected IT systems in North America and YM Australia, officials said. And this is crazy, we just had the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack that targeted oil, and then it came out that this group is receiving lots of money in Bitcoin. And, we all know about the Suez Canal incident, and I did a video, a month ago, maybe a bit longer, when the Suez Canal incident did happen. I said, is this a coincidence here, or is this a false flag event? What's really going on here? And I said, I think there could be more supply chain disruptions that are going to come in the future to cover up what the banks and the governments have done with completely ruining your purchasing power and increasing the money supply. And this way they can say, look, we didn't cause this crazy inflation and devaluation of your purchasing power. It's from supply chain disruptions and supply bottleneck disruptions. It's not our fault, everyone. It's these supply chain disruptions and these hacks. And also, everyone's favorite organization, the World Economic Forum, they've been warning, predicting, or telling us what's going to happen, and they've been warning us about cybersecurity attacks. And also the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, did say he thinks one of the biggest risks for the global economy is a cyber attack. Okay, now with that all in mind, let's get back to this breaking news article. So the world's largest beef supply has been hit with a ransomware attack threatening some of the US meat supply. The hack came less than 4 weeks after a similar one by Russian criminals against Colonial Pipeline, a major US fuel supplier, that prompted Colonial to shut down pipeline activity for 5 days and led to shortages at some gas stations. JBS, one of the world's largest international meat processors, was hacked Sunday, the company said in an email, forcing the company to take systems offline and stop work in North America and Australia. And something that you find interesting here that's being attacked is oil, meat, and where are they saying this is coming from? Russia. And what are these ransom attacks being paid in? Bitcoin. And what do the globalist elites hate? They don't like oil. They don't like meat. Russia's getting a lot of bad press. I'm not an expert on what's really going on in Russia. I'm not saying they're angels, but that's part of their agenda. They have been bashing Russia a lot. And they also hate Bitcoin. And all of these issues that have been happening have been all part of the things that they don't like. That's just, again, another food for thought there. So the company maintains 11 beef processing facilities in Australia and 26 chicken processing plants in the US. It says here, the White House has offered assistance to JBS, and our team and the Department of Agriculture have spoken to leadership several times in the last day. Gene Perry said JBS notified the administrations that ransomware demand came from a criminal organization, again likely based in Russia. These are all Russian criminals here. The White House is engaging directly with Russian government on this matter and delivering the message that responsible states do not harbor ransomware criminals. So again, a lot of bashing here on Russia, and we all know that the US and Russia relations not going too good here. But hey, do we know this is Russia, or are they just using, IP addresses from Russia? So again, everyone, meat is now being attacked. Oil is being attacked. We had huge supply chain disruptions with the Suez Canal. The World Economic Forum has warned us of these cyber attacks that's going to come. But me, and I know a lot of you, I can tell a lot of you are like-minded, and a lot of people are waking up to the tricks that they're playing. A lot of the things that are going on right now just seem like too much of a coincidence with the way they're all coordinated, with the sequence of events, with everything that's happening, with inflation, with money printing, with central banks being out of control. And really what's happening is the central bankers and the governments are losing control of the financial system, And every time they stuff up, they need an excuse of why they stuffed up to cover up their mistakes. But unfortunately, what this means is food prices, gas prices, utilities, transportation, all the things that are mandatory, things that people need to survive are skyrocketing in value. And it's going to create more poverty, and it's going to create more hunger, and it's going to lead to less opportunities because people may not be able to afford transportation or be able to afford cars, because even used cars are going up in value and fuel's going up in value. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is trying to come out and say, look, we're here to help the little guy, we're here to help the poor, we're here to help the minorities. But what they're doing is making the cost of living more burdensome for the poor and the middle class and the minorities. And what I've been doing, and I think what you should be doing, don't go out there and panic buy, but what I have been doing has been storing more food. I have been buying food and storing it because I know prices are going to continue to go up. And so if I am in the position, and if you are in the position now to buy a bit of extra food and store that, it will be better to do that now, because I do foresee more big price hikes for food coming. But the thing that scares me the most, and the thing that can get really dangerous, is once the cost of utilities, housing, and food gets so unbearable and people can't afford to eat, that's when things get really ugly. And I hope this is a wake-up call for people about how corrupt the current financial and banking system is, and how it doesn't help the poor and the middle class, and how inflation isn't transitory, and why there's going to be more events, I think, coming. I don't think the worst is over. And if you also study cycles of history and economic cycles, and if you also look at the fourth turning, that's very interesting. We're in the last cycle of the past 80-year cycle, or pretty much just a human life cycle approximately. According to this study of history, this book that was written called The Fourth Turning, the next 5 years are going to be very, very hard times ahead. So I do think it's time people prepare for what's coming by having their own energy source, by having their own food source, by having an emergency savings account so you don't have to rely on the government for stimulus checks every time things get bad, and by holding real hard tangible assets, not just paper digits on a screen. Because what they're saying could happen is, if you watch this video here, it's saying that, the internet could completely shut down. This is just a scenario they're giving, but they showed us scenarios of the coronavirus and that came true. Could we see a complete shutdown of the internet and of the grid in the future? Who knows? But that's something they're warning us about. So if it does happen, I wouldn't be that surprised. So everyone, what do you think about all this craziness that's going on in the world right now? What do you think about all these supply chain disruptions that are happening again and again and again, one after another? Do you think it's just a coincidence? Hey, it could just be a coincidence. It could just me being a bit paranoid here or a bit jaded. But you let me know down below. Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. If you haven't already, please tap that like and subscribe button. I'll keep you updated on the latest happening in the stock market, housing market, and global finance news. If you're bored, I'll put up some of my other videos here. I'll see you there.